Alright, y'all. If you remember the busting out of Bowie video, we got this here. Needs a little bit more rough grinding, so we're going to get into that. And yeah, we're going to keep at this, get this ready for y'all real soon. Hopefully have this finished in time for blade. Alright, so what we're doing here is cutting in that clip a little bit more so that when we grind the main bevels, it brings everything back up to meet at the tip. It's going to be very important for your overall geometry, your aesthetics, and how the knife actually functions. Now, one of the nice things about working with a big chunk of steel like this is it takes quite a while for it to heat up, but it also takes quite a while for it to cool down, which isn't quite so nice. But as you can see, right, we've got that pretty well ground. We're starting to get a little bit of a plunge in here. We need to keep working on that. Got to keep bringing this grind up so that it continues all the way to the point, and we will have this side pretty much ready to go. One of the key things here is to take your time, work slowly, and try and keep those grinds nice and even as you're pushing that bevel higher up the blade towards the spine so that you get a nice, clean transition in and everything joins up in a visually pleasing manner that is also going to be highly functional. If you rush, you're going to end up having to go back and redo things, so take your time. All right, y'all. So as you can see here, hopefully, there we go, that tip has gotten awful thin trying to get this primary bevel here to go all the way up to the tip and blend in this back strap here. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back down to here and work on thinning this out a little bit because you got a major difference in thickness on that cutting edge, and that needs to be addressed. Now, every knife maker does things a little bit differently, but for me, I like to work, especially on a piece this size, I like to work one section of the blade at a time, then move on to the next and move on to the next, blending them all together into a nice, clean, finished bevel. It takes a lot of time, but I think it's worth it. Slowly working things towards where I want them to be. One of the big things about this is also knowing when to stop with these very low grits, because as you continue to go up, you're still going to be moving material. And you don't want to accidentally blur your lines or push things past where you want them. So, working one section at a time, working carefully, keeping track of what I'm doing and how much material I have left to remove before I move on to the next section. And eventually transitioning to a higher and higher grit belt until I have the finished grind that I'm happy with. Here I'm really focusing on the last third of the blade, finishing, dialing in where that line's going to be, where it moves from the primary bevel into the false edge. I need to leave myself enough material because I still have a 120 belt, a 240 belt, and then hand sanding from 80 to 320 before heat treat. And then I'm going to have to polish again after heat treat, so I have to leave myself a little material to work with. All right, folks. We more or less have it where I want it for this point. I'm going to be doing some refining and getting a nicer finish on there. But at this point, it is about as rough ground as I want it. And yeah, about time to start moving on to the next step.